The LPL is back with Game 3 of Suning versus FPX. FPX just clinched their first victory, second game. And the question is, have they turned the tides for the entire series, or does Suning have another trick up their sleeves?
I don't know anymore. Well, okay, to the whole trick up their sleeves, then yes. We'll get onto that one a little bit soon enough, but we'll start with FPX because that was insane. The fact that FPX, who are behind the majority of the early portions of the game, like they were behind up until 15, 16 minutes, and LeBlanc was super fed. Now, my biggest criticism to Suning, there's a side lane. You have LeBlanc as an assassin who can deal with everyone. You know that there are 3 to 4 like melee champions, 4 melee champions, but 3 mega tanks. You don't have to play towards the mid lane fights. You don't have to group up at all. But it felt like they tried to challenge them because they had performed so well in the skirmishes prior. Like, yeah, we can just win fights. But then they started to go up against them when Sion and Kaisa in particular started going off.
And they kept taking the fights too, because I took notes last game. I like to keep up with the game, make sure I'm, well informed. And I literally have an entire page that just says fight with varying descriptors. It's 18-minute fight. Fight after that one. Follow-up fight to that one, but like not the same fight. It's totally a different one. And then there was a third fight immediately after that one.
This one was my favorite one because it was simply FPX taking advantage of Xiao being alone. And that's what it comes down to. Positional advantages. The moment they got it, then man, can LWX go in? He just ults in. Remember, he has his Infinity Edge power spike. He has 4 items, like I think 5 items at that point, where he can just jump in while he gets ignited and killed. That was enough damage for his team to take Baron. So, like, he was a major playmaker that got them his team the victory.
Yeah, I think the later stages of the game, for me, felt a lot like Crisp versus Gimgoon. Or, sorry, Crisp versus Xiao. Gimgoon actually was pretty sick. Because Xiao, I mean, he had that crazy 4-kill fight that was absolutely insane, but before that, leading up to that, he got picked off a lot of times. He found himself out of position. He was like, I guess I'm fighting now, and suddenly FPX would barrel down on him, and it was a 5v4.
Yeah, I would have loved for Crisp to be MVP. I think it was just a real tag team fight. I think it was Crisp getting a lot of denials off of people, like specifically Angel's W forward, but you saw the last replay. You know who the MVP is going to. It was legitimately LWX styling from the point he got his item gold advantage. Of course, he's going to pick up 18 kills. 80% kill participation, because guess who has the damage? He does. Nearly 200 damage to gold percentage. So it was insane. It was a single damage. Well, I would say double damage composition because Gimgoon was still there with his Aatrox. But man, was he important. If he fell without any chip on the frontliners, the game is over. So that's why it was a battle for me. It's either he gets it or Crisp with his Alistar, who is so crucial to his team and a lot of his denials off his head, but I already mentioned. But you got to give it to LWX with how much he was able to style. Got that quadra kill in the end.
One of the things I really was impressed with for FunPlus during that last game was that, yes, they had a member behind in Tien who was kind of useless at one point. He was 0-3-1, didn't have the damage, didn't have the ability to make impacts in fights, but they kept with it, and he kept trying to get back into the game. In the later stages, because they played so well around him being a target for the assassination, him being a target for the LeBlanc from Angel, suddenly he's back in the game.
Yep.
He stalled for LWX, he stalled for his team, they won fights, and then he was able to put out damage of his own.
It comes down to just understanding your role in a lot of these fights, because he still, as a late game Elise, and on top of that, he was already behind in the early game, to your point. He legitimately keep away. Keep the AD carry away as much as possible so Ezreal doesn't get too much, like he's distracted at the very least. Or, better yet, chunk him low. Because she does a lot of damage with the amount of AP she was able to build up. And so suddenly, it's Kaisa who's free-firing, no damage threat on him. Like, he's coming out 100% HP, but it's SMLZ that's really, who's realizing that, LeBlanc is out of the fight immediately. And then he's got to worry about his own positioning as an Ezreal. That's fair enough, you can do that. But if you're worried about all of the above, you can't just dish the damage that you've been trying and also you've been doing for the first 20 minutes.
But now we're coming into the third game. Well, there's an important substitution coming in here. Maple's back in, and for everyone at home who maybe missed the first game, first of all, watch this series from the beginning. It's amazing, but Maple was out because he is sick.
The manager has come out and said that Maple is really ill. As in, this boy cannot be on stage. Keep this man in bed because he has the flu and he's contagious. But guess what? I guess everybody's getting sick tonight. At least get sick when you're in Chinese New Year. See it right now, trying to keep people at least like away from him. He's got that protection out there.
It's so funny because so far we've just seen sick plays and now we have sick players. So I think we've completed the deck.
You better
really.
back up there. You better. But I remember once upon a time, Sansha of EDG made a mention of it. It was in playoffs when EDG went up against, I believe it was WE, and they went into the final series. It came down to it. There was no pawn. He was sick, but somehow he found himself in that series, and he was just dashing to the game because they were going to lose the series in the playoff time. Now, this feels like a playoff moment with how fiery this game has come up. So you better believe Suning are going all in to try for this one. Remember, single round robin. This is the last you'll ever see of FPX. Suning do not want this series to slip away. They're bringing in Maple.
Maple, of course, going to be under a lot of pressure to make sure he can still play throughout the game. And against Doinby, yes, he's more experienced than Angel. But that doesn't mean Doinby isn't still a threat to him. And I want to see how the draft might change around the substitution of Maple.
Well, I mean, at this point, we've been seeing Suning get Urgot quite a bit. And he's already cosplaying with the mask that he has. Might as well pick it up. He's a tank player. I'm just saying, pick Urgot for Suning Gaming. Suning has been such a strong Urgot team. Throughout the series that they've had, the first 3 weeks, I felt like Xiao Al, when he's on Urgot, is able to create so much space. You saw the play that he was able to make at the end of the game. I think that the only issue I had was how they strategized early on mid-game when they had their lead. Now, Angel's out. Maple knows what to do. That situation should never happen again. So the past 2 games when Suning has had a lead, but with Weiwei and Angel, they should be able to finish it with Maple.
Now, going into the draft, the big problem for Suning was that Alistar coming out of the bottom lane. Crisp absolutely popped off. He got crazy flank engages, so I suspect that to be banned. But then in response, should FPX get rid of the Tahm Kench?
I think so. I think Tahm Kench really elongates these fights. They do have an option for it. I will give him this. The tanky options that they have with Sion, Aatrox, and Alistar really makes it so Tahm Kench's job is super difficult. But I think Tahm Kench just makes it hard. And even though it's coming in first phase, FPX are on blue side. I would have loved for them to go and get the Tahm Kench ban out because they had the extra ban to do so, but they wanted to ban out the Lucian. Put a lot of respect to SMLZ's name. Nah, it's not going to happen. Don't worry about it.
Okay, cool. I was a little bit scared, Raz, I'm going to be honest. Okay, I'm more comfortable with that. I'm used to that one. Urgot coming out in the top lane. Now that the Aatrox has been banned, Gimgoon has shown some amazing performances on this pick, so I expect him to continue that trend.
And a Sion player, actually, Maple is. So I'm just saying, if you have a player like SMLZ and you can really rely on late game team fights, maybe they go for that linear style. Maybe they pick up the Sion for Maple. You would need a Sion, though, I will say, just because it's a pretty good matchup just an even matchup at best, I would say, versus Sion. I mean, Urgot will push into you, fair, but there's just so much shielding there, sustain that Sion will have in this meta that I think that it's a very comfortable lane. Akali will be picked in, but we'll just have to wait and see if we ever see the Sion pick.
They lock this in. This will be really interesting. Prioritizing. No.
Wow.
What?
Making the decision. Remember, both of these players are prolific Alistar mains. Sword Art's Alistar, I don't even have to touch that one. People around the world, the LMS, the West, will remember Sword Art's Alistar. Crisp Alistar, you just watched the last game. That's it. You know how good he is as an Alistar player. Crisp will pick him. Ooh. The only reason that he would go towards the Alistar pick here is because it's going to be a direct, counter with the Morgana. You don't really know how to be able to deal with it in the laning phase, and you'd have to be creative outside of that. So, gonna go towards picking the Tahm Kench immediately. That's insane. So, Sword Art has had it all series long, and it's not gonna be in his pocket this time.
This changes how FPX plays so drastically because this entire series so far, Crisp has been at least one of the engagers, whether it's primary or secondary. He's been there to set up these team fights. He's found these crazy flanks. On the Tom Kench, you don't get to do that.
Yeah, you're right about that. Just makes it so they need another major form of engage. The Renekton being picked up 100%. I was about to say 100%. No, win rate. But if we're just talking about 100%, 100% presence rate for Cassiopeia. Banned essentially every game. Sometimes it rears its head, but no one lets it go a second time. Maple will pick up his Cassiopeia. This is huge.
This is really scary for FPX. I was liking their draft, and then I realized Cass is open. And now I'm really not liking it.
I think one thing both teams lack is pure engage, though. So Tien and Weiwei's roles are pretty much linear here, with Morgana being picked up alongside Tom Kench. I wonder what we'll see.
They're going to need something to take out this Cassiopeia. This is the biggest threat on Suning thus far. Whereas for Suning, they just want to get a disadvantageous bot lane and take away the junglers that do well in the 2v2, do well at setting Maple behind.
Now, this is the best Cassiopeia pick I've seen in a long time, not just because it's, has to be banned, must ban, no one wants to be able to see it on the Rift, but because they already know what the solo laners are. They know that Renekton and the Urgot are picked here, which will deal with Cassiopeia insanely poorly. In fact, Cassiopeia is the pick into Urgot in top lane. If you throw it into the mid lane, it's the same deal. You can deal with that in lane easily. And then Renekton can't slice and dice if you are in their miasma. You're in a situation here where you better hope that the Urgot is mid, at least so he can farm. I know Doinby has been playing a few Renekton mid lane games and streams today because he's been streaming this morning, but I would not think he'd pick it up here mid.
Definitely not going to be the Gangplank, I hope. Because that would be... No, it's
there
the Gangplank. Okay, so that's Cassiopeia bottom then.
But we'll have to see soon enough. That's yeah, you're right about it likely being a Cassio bottom lane. I love the GP just because, our initial worries about having pure engage. They may be able to resolve that with the Sejuani pick, so I'll leave that up for them. But GP, if you are a smart enough team as Suning are, you can play really well around GP ulti and just outright chase them down. This is such a nice composition to see if they can get a real flank going with the Akali pick. Oh, lock it in, please.
Oh, man.
There are so many fantastic Kayn players in the league. We've already seen XX and primarily Ning pick it up. It's in.
There it is. This is pulling out all the stops for both of these teams. They've gone for these weird pickups, and it will be Doinby on the Urgot mid, we think. So this, how does this composition work is just what I have to flat out ask, because so much has changed in this last phase.
Well, leaving FPX's comp aside, because that feels very pick-oriented, Renekton on the top side with Elise makes it so Shao is going to have a rough time at things underneath this tower. He needs some form of protection, and if we're speaking of protection, that would be in the form of Weiwei. But Weiwei is on the, the jungle pick here. Now, this is interesting, because to your point, a lot of it will be try and play towards major objectives, right? There are no hard engaged champions here, but as a Kayn, if you're playing around a dragon or a baron and you layer down the miasma, you try and play around it, Kayn can find his way through walls, looking for flanks. He's going to be going darkened Kayn, red Kayn here, so he can actually get on top of the carry, and if they're inside Tom Kench, you can knock both of them up very easily. And remember, we've been seeing a lot of Conqueror's Kayn, because if you're in Darken, not only do you get the max HP damage off his Q, but if you're in the fight for a long time, as you should be with the HP that you have, you're getting the Conqueror's Q slice as well. So primarily it's picked into the Sejuani. Every time we've seen Kayn, it's because he's picked into Sej and she's had guaranteed armor and magic resist. But this time around, he's going into an Elise, so he's dealing with the Tom Kench primarily. So we're going to have to see how he can actually do that. That's very linear in how teamfight should be working. It's very much focus on the Tom Kench immediately. GP ulti comes in. I want to see how it works in fights.
Especially against the Elise, who has that strong early game, strong early gank potential. So much can go wrong in the early stages of the game for both teams.
It definitely can. I think all eyes are on Weiwei and Maple and how these fights form, because if they try and dive straight into SMLZ. Got your ultimate petrifying gaze, and at the same time, Akali is diving straight forth with the Kane pickup. So SMLZ on the mage option. This is going to be fun to see.
FPX and Suning mixing it up for the final game of their best of 3. Game 3 is about to begin. The cheers louder than ever before. The hype is palpable.
All eyes, of course, are on, as you can see in the camera. It's Doombee's fiance with Doombee. We had doubts there going into game 2, but super carry Doombee, man. When he was on that sign, they picked the fights. Maybe they can get a little bit of damage onto Crisp.
Not going to look for a bind or anything like that, but a little bit of gold in Sword Art's pocket.
It's crazy. This is legitimately straight out of a drama. When you're put on the edge, when Doombee, I guess a lot of the members on FPX found themselves picking that game back. I gave a lot of credit to Crisp, LWX, Doombee's engage on the Scion. All of that came together. You get into a game 3 and Maple comes back on the Akali, the assassin pick. It's going to be on him. I know he's going to be on a handicap since he is very ill. He's stuck with the flu, but he just has to battle through it in this final game.
Now both junglers just slowly pathing through their red sides. Suning getting a little bit of poke here.
Light him up.
Varus will be going the on-hit build, that lethal tempo.
So this is the first one that's not a Conqueror's Cane. Now that's what I was worried about to begin with, because really if he goes Conqueror's Cane, he's only really eyeing Doombe and Crisp, the Tom Kench and the Urgot. But he's going to be going Electrocute, much more reasonable. I wonder if he goes towards Darken. He still should, just because of the CC that they have. They really need him to be their sole CC threat. Or if he goes to Blue Cane, so he can focus solely on Tien, LWX, so he can just get the damage to begin with. So I want Red Cane. Do not give me Blue Cane.
We've very rarely seen it in competitive. Would be neat, but I don't think it's what they're looking for here. And Tien has been spotted on the ward looking for this gank.
Ooh, Kane's on bot side. We saw this we knew this was gonna happen the moment the Elise got picked with Renekton. Goodbye.
Xiaoao knew it was coming as well, but just getting forced out
Flash
of
away.
lane.
Oh, holds his flash.
Forced out of lane, however, and Gimgoon just poking down behind the tower.
So makes a lot of sense that he would hold on to his flash, just waiting on to Tien to flash himself, and also just he was already close to his own turret. Huge wave was on top of him, was already onto the next turret. He keeps a lot of his summoners, and now Tien is going to be pathing away from him. So he got a lot out of that one, and he's going to teleport right back to tower.
Gimgoon trying to farm the rest of the wave, but it's a big one pushing towards him. So if Tien wants to go for a gank here and can wait a little bit.
Oh my god, really?
Nope. There's no patience here for Tien. The only patient is going to be Xiaoao because Tien's about to run a clinic.
So level 3, it's going to be Tien that starts this gank. Gimgoon is already really low, but he does so much damage. Here we go.
Rail's been set up, the teleport coming in. 3 versus 1 in the top lane.
Oh!
Xiaoao playing it so well, but can't avoid the first blood. Doombe comes in and takes it.
You see how much they committed to that one. Doombe was even worried that he would be able to take the wave, and if there's no wave, man, is that a hard gank to go for. So he TPs on top of it. They get the kill, doesn't have teleport here, so he loses so much.
Tien going to be spotted here by Wei Wei. A little bit of a stun. Doombe will discourage Maple from walking any further.
So it's really early on. It doesn't matter if he hits Tien too much, even though, you know, Tien is out of spiraling form. It is ranged. He would be getting blue procs on that one, but as long as he gets, the longer he goes on, the more damage he gets. Those are the spirits that matter the most.
And now it looks like Wei Wei taking a page out of Tien's book as he's looking towards the top side.
Surrender. Tom Kench emoji.
Ooh, fighting going down under tower, LWX. Gotta play careful here, a lot of damage potential.
This is actually really tough for SMLZ and Sword Art to, you know, try and get damage underneath turret because of the poison that Cassiopeia has and because of the pool that Morgana has. So they're doing a lot to push in, but they have to ride that tightrope of how much damage do we get on the tower, Is poison off? Okay, you guess Morgana can get in there. So it's very easy to just take a free tower shot for no reason.
In the top lane, however, Gimgoon is looking really good so far. I mean, he did get like 2 consecutive ganks, including a TP, but he's up by almost double Xiao CS.
Yeah, definitely the SOFM special where he just kept going back. That was the strategy anyways, so it just means that right now GP needs to stay at his tower, has to have in the back of his mind that whenever Elise is in the top side of the map, going to be looking for his F. Really sad that the next Scuttle Crab is actually RNG top side, so Elise has that much more of an incentive to stay there.
Won't be able to get a trade here for Weiwei. Not quite level 6 yet either, so can't look for too adventurous of a gank.
Before Weiwei gets evolution, he's basically half a champion. Like that's the main issue that a lot of Kayn players end up having is before he gets red Kayn or blue Kayn, he's just really struggling. He does have a very fast clear, as you can tell. Elise usually lags behind, not going for Krugs, and if you do it for Krugs, it takes a long time. Same deal with Raptors, but Kayn can just blow right through it. So right now, level 5 for Weiwei to level 4 for Tien because of this strategy. Working out well for him, but you gotta believe that his lanes are suffering for it. Are you kidding me? Let's go.
He's going again. This time he knows no ward sitting there at least.
And remember, he got level 5 here because the Scuttle Crab RNGing topside gave him experience and keeping to that same strategy. Yeah, Sword Art, defend your man.
You know you've been doing a good job as a jungler keeping pressure on a lane when the support literally walks across the entire map to make sure your top laner survives.
Usually not a good strategy when you're on a Cassiopeia. That's really hard to, like, sure you can farm underneath tower, and thankfully Crisp is on Tom Kench, but can get chipped down. That's my major worry, but he's doing well for himself here. Okay, welcome back to the top lane.
Oh my god, Doinby. This is brutal.
He has level 7. He definitely has his ultimate. This is the easiest kill I've ever seen.
Doinby. There's the cocoon. The follow-up will be the fear beyond death, and Doinby gets the second kill onto Xiaoao.
Not much you can do about that one. Don't care if GP can just drink his orange juice. You literally will consistently get CC'd to death. So yeah, GP is not having a good time. It's huge.
Now.
Like that is literally 59 CS to 21, and it's only going to get worse. That's a huge wave that he's missing out on. Level 7 to level 5.
Sure, Maple's pushed in, but this is absolutely massive for Renekton. In the very early stages of the game, he's gotten all but 2 of the tower platings as well.
And people don't get to see this side of Gimgoon. Gimgoon on the previous iterations of FPX, even when he was on Energy Pacemakers, has been a top laner that he's great for team fights, but never set up to succeed within the laning phase. He's always somebody that, you know, he tries to pick his Vladimir, Fiora. Sometimes he's there for his lane, but then he doesn't have the coordination with his jungler. Tien's not having none of that. This is the definition of coordination and maybe a little bit of favoritism. So like, Tien is giving Gimgoon as much of a help as he can, and he's really going far.
And the most important thing for me that I'm really enjoying so far is that despite the fact that Doinby has roamed top no less than 3 times, one of them he had to turn around, he's still even in CS. He's 2 kills up, of course, but he's keeping even in his lane, getting his top laner insanely ahead.
Yeah, my major question is what Maple is going to be able to achieve. Remember, this is a difficult lane for Natali, especially in a shorter lane, so her, her trading patterns not really relevant. With the tower right behind an Urgot's back. So it really is just Doinby not even caring about his flash, doing whatever he can to get his side lanes ahead. Speaking of side lanes,
FPX having to sacrifice a lot of health in this tower, but they're getting a ton topside for it.
Spiderlings, thank you.
Not quite the full tower just yet, but it will be this next wave.
They should be able to hold the tower too, so they can actually completely deny the wave. So it's a good trade overall, but Kayn actually does not thrive in trades because he wants to be able to skirmish a little bit. In tougher fights where he's able to get his red or blue Kayn before 14 minutes, like he's having a good time. But he's been in an average Kayn in an average game where he's just trading sides, getting farmed. And the same has been happening for Tien. So Tien is actually able to keep up in experience, or at least just in levels, while completely pressuring GP away from his tower.
I don't know if this trade is worth it, though, in the bottom lane, because SMLZ now on this Cassiopeia up almost 40 CS, and Cassiopeia is a very dangerous threat as it approaches later in the game.
It's going to take some time, but this... Oh!
Nice
clutch.
secure. Ultimate onto Tien. He's not long for this world. Gets the repel out. Doinby trying to come to his rescue, but the cocoon goes wide. Now Doinby and Gimgoon. Oh! Great flash over, but the stun from Gimgoon. Can he get the kill? He should get way to safety.
Yeah, the safest champion you can imagine. Gonna be able to get out of this one pretty freely. Who took Rip Turtle is my question.
Doinby.
Doinby got it?
Yeah. Tien secured it, and then Doinby just picked
Excellent.
it up.
All right, well, mid lane's gonna be under threat. Here we go.
Already popping it.
Light him up.
I really like this, because I was concerned about the Cassiopeia bot, but if you just shove down every single lane before she can scale up, doesn't matter how well she scales.
Yeah, my major concern with Cassiopeia is that she allows her team to play around major objectives pretty easily. Next, Infernal Dragons in about 2 minutes. But right now, FPX didn't care about that. That's a huge wave.
This should be the mid tower, going to get at least the turret plating here.
No, they got the tower.
I just get a little bit nervous when FPX are looking real good.
You can see how tanky the turret is just because of the bulwark, and there's so many members, so it just gets so much free armor, resistances there. But that's just too large of a wave, honestly. Even if it takes a little longer, they can take the tower freely.
The 2 towers entirely taken down in the span of 12 minutes by FPX. This is actually kind of insane.
It allows Gimgoon so much more strength. Remember, if you're stuck in a lane with a Renekton, you think, oh my goodness, I don't know what to do. Thank the Lord the tower is open. And then you realize that a free Renekton's probably a little worse. Because suddenly he pushes in, he runs into red side jungle. I think that Elise should have the ability to take red buff, but she's in the opposite side of the map. I think she's playing that one a little poorly. But essentially now Gimgoon has the ability to go in flank, pop ultimate, slice and dice through so many members, strat armor. Like, there's so much that he could do to empower LWX and Doinby while just dealing heaps of damage himself.
Doinby going to have a little bit of help from Tien here in the bottom lane. They're looking for the final tower. Going to get the flip there. Not able to see where Maple is, though. Cocoon, good guess, but not quite good enough to land.
Even if he hit him, what are you even going to do?
W and hope.
I respect that.
That's how I play Elise. Tien playing incredibly well so far, but now that he's got the top lane so far ahead.
Oh my goodness, get him.
Maple going for the E, gets the perfect execution, not going to get the kill just yet.
Oh!
He's going in for it. Doinby's still alive with the shield, but finally Weiwei takes him out, gets the shutdown. Teleport coming in from FPX though. Gimgoon, the flash, the E, the stun, ultimate. Maple, where are you going? Woo! He gets over the wall. Repel not enough, and the miasma stops the fight.
Suning come to help a brother out. Even Weiwei gets out of there, and he was dealing with a little skirmish on the side. Are they going to get Dragon off the back of that? Nah. Nah, I don't know about this one.
They can't contest it right now. They don't have an angle on it, and Miasma keeps him out of the pit.
Oh my god, LWX, you god.
That's the second time someone's been stolen today, but LWX. That's nuts.
Infernal Dragon. The next one is, that could be a double Infernal because LWX just sniped it from the side.
Now, Suning, the one advantage they were going to get off that, they no longer have. LWX a lot of lane sustain here, so if Gimgoon split pushes, gets in a bad fight, just back off for a little bit, regen.
All eyes on Weiwei. Alright, what'd you get, bud?
2-0-0. I assume his transformation's ready, so probably going back to get the Darken. Nope. Doesn't look like he actually has it.
Either way, he has armor, boots, ninja tabbies, going towards Black Cleaver, the true tail of the Red Cane. And he's dealing with a really tanky composition while he's behind. Right now, I love the fact that Maple's taking side lane, and I love that he was looking for a chance to be able to kill a very low HP Doinby. He blew his flash in the process, though, so that's what I'm worried about. Doinby should be able to make the same kind of play happen. The only thing I'm concerned about was, Maple so willing to throw out his Shroud initially before seeing the Elise. If he does that ever again, then at least Cocoon will turn into something. And remember, Doomby has his own ultimate prime, so he only has to get her down 30% HP, get a few procs passive, be able to get the job done. So side lane is so tumultuous.
So we're also about to finish the call, get a little influx of gold, might be able to finish his second item. Now, Gimgoon just laning against Maple. I don't
Let's
know.
go.
Well, Wei coming down, but Tien is here as well. It's more than enough to dissuade the gank.
Yeah, you already see Wei in the area. At this point, just being able to mirror Maple on side lane, that's all you really need. There's not much you can do to get on top of SMLZ at Sword Art. Morgana and Cassiopeia is just like, what do you even do at that point? So LWX is trying to poke him, but remember, he's attack speed Varus, thankfully, rather than poke. Just means that Cassio has free shove every single time she has her miasma up.
Cassio now finishing 2 items, has the Archangels and the Rylai's, so a lot of teamfight damage, a lot of slows for the chase as well. FPX need to be careful the next time they fight around her, but I think they might just want to avoid her entirely.
Yeah, definitely avoid her. I mean, there's a good reason why Doomby's on top side of the map. They've been doing a great job at keeping Gimgoon down, but Xiao down. Guess what? Now he has Trinity Force. He's 104 CS there, just 40 CS behind Gimgoon. If you saw how his laning phase went out, that's actually impressive. So it's good to be able to see Xiao slowly come back into the game. What was already a really difficult way to start out laning phase.
LWX trying to make a similar recovery against SMLZ, but hasn't been having as much luck. He does, however, have the Blade of the Ruin King, so decent amount of damage in a fight.
Now, one thing I would love to see is, Doomby's doing a great job of being able to poke this turret down and really keeping up. There we go. What are you going, buddy? I didn't even have to ask, to be honest. It's Red King, so
Yeah.
Just had to make sure. I remember it was RNG versus IG in a finals, summer finals. We saw a blue Kane and split push. That was just a bad decision from Ning. So it's good to see that they have that form of engage now inside. And they have to be looking towards the dragon. Oh my god, please. You gotta at least get it.
That's just cruel.
Yeah, it makes me sad.
Man's already down. You don't need to kick him again. But now, Suning, 4 people mid, trying to put the pressure down.
Oh, he's had
Oh, there's the ultimate. Doinby, goodbye, Xiao.
He's fine. So at least, because remember, when the top lane fight happened, we'll have to see how he's dead. When the top lane dive happened, drank orange juice when Tien had cocooned him. Therefore, Urgot can ulti you. But if you're doing it alone, you have to be aware that you can still cancel out on the Urgot ultimate. So start the fight, use your W, chunk him down. Yeah, even if you're right on top of him, you have to go through the full ultimate animation. 100% GP is going to be able to get out of it.
Unfortunate there for Doinby, but Xiao making a narrow recovery, living for a little bit longer. Now the next fight looks to be around this dragon. Suning are able to take it very quickly if they get the advantage on it, but FPX just want to preempt that.
Last time around they stole dragon, and this is going to be them just picking up the unless.
Oh
my god,
no!
stop stealing!
The second steal! Theft is wrong, guys!
That's insanity. That is a double infernal denial, and I guess we have to take a look at this one. He doesn't even have much mana too. He should have just finished off the kill. Literally, that's all he needed to do. Unfortunately, the mana point didn't have the ability to stay on the fight long enough for the help to not come in. Oh
Chain
my
of Corruption
god.
on the side.
Goodbye.
There's enough damage for the Fear Beyond Death. And Suning no longer able to look for the flank.
But Baron is coming up in 20 seconds. That's very close, and what is a really good Baron composition. So FPX, they're the type of team to sit around Baron even when they can do it and wait for the pick. I wonder if they do it or just rush it.
Double control wards placed so far. SMLZ just farming away at the Raptors.
Just do it. You have a lot of tankiness here. Here we go. Wei. Remember.
Gets spotted out. Can Wei make the double steal? SMLZ, if he gets a good ultimate here and the miasma, there's
Oh,
a ton
no.
of damage in the team fight. Oh no, they need to disengage. Redemption coming in. Baron down to 4k health. Gimgoon goes into the front line. They take down SMLZ. That's a ton of damage off the side of Suning, and FunPlus have torn off the Baron, looking for the kills instead. Wei goes down. The double kill for Doinby.
At least they're low in HP, so if Suning's ultimate objective is to push them off of Baron, they did just that, but they lost 2 members in doing so. Gold is starting to come into FPX's pocket. Last 2 games in the series, Suning had the early game lead, but that's just not the case anymore. Wow, so this is how it starts off, huh? Throw the Renekton in there. The teleport pushes him off. And just take a look at this. Yeah, Akali, they see you. Hands up. Not much you can do here. Yeah, Suning had nothing to do with this one the moment Akali goes down immediately.
Good dodge out on the ultimate from everyone there. And now SMLZ, once he's put under threat, that flash in from Gimgoon secures the fight for FPX. They can just do whatever they want at this point, and they'll just wipe out as much of Suning as they can, keep the pressure off.
Yeah, the whole problem came through when Akali got picked off behind them. And of course that fight was them trying to push them off of Baron when Akali just revived. So I think that Maple's having a fairly good game for just being like legitimately having the flu and feeling this ill. But still not top peak, not 100% Maple. And making these mistakes is not something that are becoming of him. So we're going to have to see if he can battle through it. He's definitely not going to be able to communicate as much as he's done in the past. And that's a detriment. They don't know he's coming in there. Then that's a lost fight.
Now the pressure back on in the side lanes. FPX has been forced off of Baron for now. But they got a lot off of it. It's interesting for me that Doinby has picked up the Frozen Mallet, because I guess he's prioritizing the chase down.
Yeah, I remember when Urgot initially came up into the top lane, it was the double aggressive items of Black Cleaver and Frozen Mallet. But then people moved towards getting the armor item earlier on, either Gargoyle Stoneplate or far more often the one that boosts your speed. My memory is just that of a goldfish. Yes, Righteous Glory. Just so you can actually join in team fights and be a lot more effective. But Doinby, as you've seen, has been on side lanes so frequently, and he's been trying to pull Suning apart. So if team fights are happening, you are going to be kicking yourself if you didn't go armor item early. But he hasn't been with the team that much, so he should be able to reap the benefits.
Still has the cull in his inventory, working towards the Righteous Glory now, almost completed. So he's almost at 3 items. Gimgoon almost at his second. And LWX got a pretty respectable amount of damage from his on-hit himself.
Yeah, I love Cull on Urgot, by the way. Whenever you press W, the HP back that you get off Cull is just rapid fire, and you get a lot of sustain with it. So people usually keep Cull much longer than they should, just because, or at least much longer than others would, just because it really benefits Urgot with his ability.
Now that we're getting into the later stages of the game, wondering if the Cassiopeia is going to start being more of a threat, because so far it hasn't been able to do much because FPX have been avoiding it.
Yeah, the issue is if Cassiopeia's team has to fight for vision, she's at a loss. If Cassiopeia's team has to deal with 1-3-1 side lanes, she's at a loss. But if you ever see Suning at the objective first, they're at the Dragon first, which they're not, they're at the Baron first, which they're not, then they should be able to take the fight very cleanly, very easily, because you have Kanon, trying to run around for flanks. Miasma's layered down, and she has so much damage to her name. So that's what you should be watching for. At least you can see that Suning are looking to favor the Baron now. I just wonder if they can do that for a long time. They need mid lane pressure.
Now that FPX has taken the Dragon off the map, no longer do the 2 objective fake out, which we've seen varying degrees of success on. But it eliminates the options here so that FPX and Suning are both forced towards the same quadrant.
They're trying to help out Brother Xiao Al here. He's been behind for so long. Has a Sterix Gauge now. I wonder what his next item is going to be. Either it's going to be a Storm Razor, or I would say Yomu's Ghostblade, whatever is cheapest to help his team. The game seems like it's going to end at any moment here, just based off one fight. So he's not going to get his chance. He's going to have to help out and help his team here. You have a ward?
Starting the Baron. No ward in the pit just yet, but there is a scan. Oh, and FPX have pulled off of it.
Let's go.
Comes the Righteous Glory onto Weiwei. He has the Black Shield. He's ulted onto Doinby, but that's not where you want to be. He gets out of the fight for now. Gimgoon half health on the front line. SMLZ chasing down. Gimgoon will be just fine.
Good job from Sword Art to keep Weiwei safe. The Black Shield, he was so dead. They were even dragging him towards his team. Black Shield comes out immediately, so he's able to just run out of there scot-free. Those are dangerous times, being able to just queue through and get caught out by LWX's ultimate.
For the time, though, FPX can keep affording to do this. They need to get more off these plays, I think. Last time they did it, worked out pretty well. They got 3 kills and a lot of pressure, but if they keep getting nothing off of it, suddenly it's a problem. Suddenly Xiaowao starts scaling up, getting those items. SMLZ keeps being a threat. The next time might be Suning going for the Baron Rush.
Yeah, it might take a few more ways for him to do that, though. I don't think Tien wants to aggro Baron. He needs to get out of there. Thankfully, that one probably hit his spiraling and not him, because that one would probably have forced him to base. That being said, you're right. I mean, FPX have been getting so much mid lane pressure that they can continuously just reuse these kind of plays. But all eyes are just on how SMLZ is walking up alongside Maple, especially if Maple could throw down his Shroud and push them off this Baron. I'm really afraid for how LWX ends up playing these fights.
All eyes on him after last game. Expect him to be able to pull out a similar carry performance. But just 2 items completed for now. Luckily, I think the Wit's End is a really good choice here. It keeps him a little bit beefier once the fight starts going. Keeps him alive for long enough to keep doing damage, but Weiwei maybe looking for a flank here as the Vision fights continue.
Double longsword. I wonder if he's going into a Dirk immediately, because I would love for him to go into Guardian Angel. At this point in time, he is such a great disruptor that picking up a stopwatch into GA when he's in the thick of things would be a great way to allow SMLZ to walk up. But double longsword is just another threat. Extra damage. Going into, I guess he's going to be dealing quite a bit on top of LWX if he ever gets some time with him, but it's going to be difficult to really see that being an option with Crisp around.
Well, luckily Maple also has that threat of being able to stall out, has the Shroud, has the stopwatch, so at least they have someone fulfilling that role for the time being.
Xal is with the team, and with Renekton bottom lane, usually that would be a call for Baron. This is actually a really difficult spot now for Suning with Gimgoon just alone with the tower. With no response for Suning, this is a huge error.
Sword Art is backing now, so it looks like Gimgoon just going to get this tower for free. And maybe a pick towards the top side onto Weiwei. They got a lot of damage onto him.
He's
Ultimate
alone.
popped onto Doinby, but I don't see him getting out of this one. Tahm Kench coming in as well. FPX have 4 members. Redemption saves him.
Sword Art, please.
Oh, Gimgoon getting chased down a little bit. Smacked away by Xiaowao.
That was so close, but your jungler is gone. And if that's going to happen, FPX are just going to go for the Baron. We've seen a lot of steals this game, and Weiwei is going to have to make another one happen.
Ocean Drake helping him recover a little bit alongside the red buff. They're able to stop Maple from entering the fight. SMLZ got the chase.
Ooh, ducks and dodges Varus' ultimate.
Chain of Corruption not going to land, and now Gimgoon forced out of the fight. This is looking really bad for FPX. Suddenly, Xiaowao can contest onto Gimgoon,
oh, no.
but that's a lot of damage returned. Xiaowao maybe a little overconfident. The Sterix Gauge barely saving him.
This is insane from the side lane. You're already seeing GP come back. Put down so early on, but Tien's effectiveness in the side lane is starting to really bite back with how long this game is drawn out for.
The longer it goes, the more effective Suning get to be. They have so much late game scaling. Akali has a ton of damage already, but SMLZ continues being like an AP hyper carry, and Gangplank scales up crazy well. So for FPX, with the Renekton, with the Urgot, they need to be careful and make sure they keep their pressure up and start actually making strides towards something. Because right now, the continual Baron baits don't feel like they're having as much effectiveness.
Yeah, their main form of engage. I know we talked about this going into the game. I was concerned about it. Right now, it is Elise Cocoon for 1 pick, and with a Morgana running around that's not really reliable. And it's the LWX ultimate that, once again, who's going to follow up? If you have Cocoon and Varus ultimate being thrown down, you have to be expecting one player to do it, and it's Gimgoon who's on side lane. So, especially with the game being this long, you have to have, you already seen the items that Gimgoon has picked up. Gargoyle Stone Plate on a Renekton, because that's their way to follow up on the engages that they have. And if that's the way you do it, then you've already failed in what your composition was trying to achieve early on.
Now they're stuck with a little bit of a weird tank hybrid composition for their top and mid, which means all the damage is going to have to come from LWX. And once again, they're going for the Baron. Suning is here to contest. Doinby trying to keep them off on the side lane, has Righteous Glory popped. And Gimgoon looking for the flank. But FPX might want to turn it entirely. SMLZ gets Cocoon. Chain of Corruption goes through onto the Black Shield. But SMLZ's down. Now FPX have a chance to win the fight. Maple gets out of the Twilight Shroud, and he gets out alive.
Where are you going, buddy?
The ultimate from Tom Kent, still on the chase. FPX, Doinby does not want to give it up.
But they're right back on the pit. And remember, Wei is still alive. Gimgoon's just trying to play a lot of games. I wonder if they go for another 50-50.
Xiaoao poking in onto the pit. Is Gimgoon getting chunked down? He's going to get almost killed here in the Baron pit. Locking going to be enough to keep him up for now, but Ignite is ticking. Stoneplate keeps him alive. Xiaoao barely lives. He's taken down, and now the ultimate. Wei still alive. Maple looking for the kill onto Tien. LWX still up, but cannot find the damage. Maple needs to be taken out. He gets Tien and a huge heal. Maple is going to live.
This is why you bring Maple in. Sick as hell, game 3, but still focused enough in a lot of these fights to push FPX off of the Baron pit. This is huge. It started with Cassiopeia going down. FPX do not want this to go to a 50-50 Baron run. They're trying their hardest to get Gimgoon and Doinby to come in and to collapse. Look at this pincer move. It made it so SMLZ was the goal here. And Sword Art wasn't fast enough on the trigger finger to keep him alive. So this looks really good. Wei escapes on 1A. Akali escapes to the top. You cannot nail these champions down.
Another problem in the long extended team fights for LWX is that he just can't seem to get his damage off. He has to be close range if he wants to play towards his on hit, but he's forced away by Maple, he's forced away by Wei, and all he can do is throw out Qs.
I think the ultimate that he had that layered on top, we'll have to see how Doinby plays this one out. He should be able to get the kill.
Oh, misses the
beautiful.
ultimate. Oh no. Maple still in trouble. Has the stopwatch pop, but now that should be a kill. Doinby picks it up, and now Maple's down.
They don't have a wave topside, so this could only turn into a Baron. It has a really good argument for doing so. Long death timer here from Maple, 40 seconds. You have to believe that this is one of those situations where it has to turn into a steal.
Weiwei's looking for it. He's had success with the dragon. He's gotten his practice.
Oh
now
my
it's time
God.
for the real test. But Doinby once again going for the full engage. Ult catches him in the face. Chain of Corruption won't catch anyone, and Wei goes in. Doinby is in trouble. He's getting squished down, but LWX flashes in, gets one, has to turn around onto the backline. Xiaoao still alive, pumping out damage, but Wei, Xiaoao, and Sword Art are forced off.
So many kills are being put down, but what does it all mean? I mean, legitimately, Baron is still up, and Gimgoon, you caught out. What's going on here?
Doing a lot of damage, though. Xiaoao, really low health, and 4 members remaining for FPX, but all too low to contest the Baron.
That's the issue, is that, honestly, job well done. You stopped them once again from picking up Baron. As Maple gets picked off early, FPX once again have another Baron dance where they go for it, but they do not want a 50-50 with how these steals have been coming across all game long. And so it turns into these wishy-washy fights because they can't nail anyone down. The ultimates can't land. They don't have many. Tien's Cocoon and LWX's Varus ulti are all they have to nail people down.
And the black shields from Sword Art are so effective going into this as well because he keeps getting them on key targets. So the Chain of Corruption, if it doesn't land, doesn't spread. Chain of Corruption isn't the only problem, though. Doinby's ultimate has been denied several times by this. The Cocoon as well. Sword Art is putting in so much work for his team, stopping these engages at the Baron.
This is the first time that Suning have actually had control here, being able to take the wards out. They still need to have shove in these adjacent lanes. They need to have somebody pushing up top lane and mid. This is the only reason they are constantly on the back foot. This is the first time where they're able to shove FPX away from the pit.
FPX are not happy about it, but they'll have to live with it for now. They need to find a good pick, but with Sword Art there, with the Black Shield, they cannot find good purchase.
Ooh, dodges it. Youmu's and a BF sword. Right now, Xiao Al has gotten the items that he hasn't been able to. Weiwei.
Cocoon will not land onto him. Stun onto Weiwei. Doinby has Righteous Glory popped. He's going in, looking for Sword Art, though.
Oh, he's tired.
Ultimate. Redemption goes down. Sword Art's still alive. Doinby has the stone plate. He forces Weiwei into the middle of his team, but no one's able to get him. He flashes out. He's still alive. And once again, FPX find nothing.
Even throws out the petrifying gaze to keep him safe. Weiwei has been so low for so long, but he has an Ocean Dragon, and he can just phase through walls to regain his HP. He is so annoying because every time FPX are like, is this good enough to go for Baron? It is not. I was about to say, this is when you start to turn into sudden death, because taking down that Cloud Dragon is dangerous. Next dragon is Elder Dragon, so now it's really a toss-up on which one they really focus on.
And I feel like at this point, the Ocean Drag is kind of the unsung hero for Suning, because FPX keeps forcing these fights, and they'll get Weiwei really low. But because of the Ocean Dragon, if they're able to stall out long enough for Suning, suddenly the steal becomes a threat again. So Weiwei keeps his presence on the map despite losing so much health time after time.
I am upset that he has a Tiamat, though. It's a very late one. If you're not getting it early, which you shouldn't be getting it early, then I would love for him to be able to get a Guardian's Angel for how long he's able to dip and dive in these fights. Or maybe just an HP item. Like, take a look at how focused this composition is on just raw AD. Doinby, Gimgoon. Unfortunately, it's not crit, so going Randuin's is a bit much. I just think that having the Hex Drinker and specifically the Tiamat isn't giving his team much to work with.
At the same time, he really hasn't had to have much combat effectiveness. If he stalls enough time in the team fight, the rest of his team just destroys. Now Doinby, Righteous Glory finds nothing.
He's thinking about it, always thinking about if the ultimate would matter, that there's no follow-up and he needs to start saving them.
Weiwei gets the knockup onto Doinby. Doinby gets out, but the Gangplank ultimate has gone into the middle of the fight as well, pushing FunPlus back. Neither team can find a win in the team fights.
They just think that every single time. See, Suning are like, we can get a pick here on towards Doinby. Just kidding, Crisp has saved another person with the Tom Kench. I don't know what the Colonel Sanders is talking about here. 27% for Suning is a bit much. I know they've been on the back foot for so long, but with the Cassiopeia, anything could happen here.
I feel like it's the same odds as these Baron takes, 50-50. We're going for yet another one here, but this time going for the duo.
Playing defense, pushing them away. Even if they have an idea that this is happening, no, LWX and Chris have to leave. This is actually really damaging.
Oh no, Tien is stuck. If they pick out the jungler, suddenly the Baron fight goes towards Suning.
Oh,
and Tien's able to get out the Devour, but will he live through the Ignite?
Suning should let them go and turn towards the Baron. That was very cute, but now Tien cannot go anywhere near the pit. This is the best chance that Suning has at taking it. This is really off for FPX. They can't do much about it, but they'll try.
Already half health. Maple threatening onto LWX. Perfect execution. Gets the stun. He dodges out the chain of throw. LWX gets the kill. 4 members of Suning have gotten the Baron, however, and Doinby cannot find a stun. Weiwei cannot get taken out here. Safe. Black Shield keeps SMLZ alive as well, and FPX aren't able to punish the Baron.
Lovely. Triple flash out of the pit. That was robbery in the pit. I mean, Suning were on the back foot for so long, basically telling Colonel Sanders off, there's no reason for you to believe that Suning are out of there. All it took was one fight. Tien could no longer be there for a steal, and Suning now have Baron buff with a Cassiopeia.
Now, the game has been going so slow for so long that suddenly Suning haven't accelerated. They can slam down on the gas, and they have the tools to do it as well. They have a very farmed Gangplank, an extremely farmed Cassiopeia, about to finish that death cap.
Yeah, the Storm Razors now. The crit's gonna hurt. This GP is basically online. He's ready for these fights. So not only is GP ready to start burning like just blowing up LWX. If you are LWX, if you saw how that last fight went, sure, he was able to blow up Akali there, who was buying for time, but it's not going to just be the Akali who's gunning for you. It's Akali with the GP ulti on top of you, and then that's not good enough. GP's just going to show up behind you. I mean, I'm just saying that it is such a hard life for a Varus who's at this point scaled off.
Varus having a lot of trouble, but it's not like Doinby or Gimgoon have it any easier. The composition here for FPX just isn't doing them any favors in the later stages of the game. Oh, Doinby,
I don't know
can
about
he
that
find
one.
it through the TP? Gets the flip, but does he have the damage for it? Sterix is popped by Xiaoal, and Tien is here to help finish off the fight. They finally get something off of this.
Super carrying Doinby, man. I saw a game where he was able to carry it back, just cutting in its side lanes. Xiaoal found himself in side lane. He took him down. That teleport takes way too long, and you know he's just going to knock you out of it. These are long death timers, and that's what you have to worry about. Even if you have Baron, you will just get cut down in team fights if you don't have your full 5 members.
And the team fights is the important thing because FPX may not be able to take them anymore, but they can get picks. And with the death timers being this extremely long, that's no longer a detriment. It's kind of a strength.
Sudden death mode. At this point, you have to fight for it. You don't have GP, but you can't let them get it.
Down to 3,000 health.
They're just giving it away. That's all. You can't do much about this one.
And now, FPX going to push in towards the mid and the bottom lanes. Gimgoon handling bot by himself. They have so much damage here in the combat stats. They might be able to take over Suning in a full-on 5v5.
Yeah, they can. Double Infernal Dragon alongside with an Elder. That is way too much to deal with burn damage. So, FPX, at this point, you can do whatever you want. Bring Gimgoon with you. Right now, he's pushing up bottom lane. I think what's going to happen is FPX are just going to rotate towards him. I wonder if he's building up the wave slowly. Thankfully, GP is there to try and take the wave out. So they have a lot of clear here. Thank the Lord that Suning can clear this out with GP and Cassiopeia.
Ping's going down onto the top side because FPX, their top tower, is going to start being threatened here. They need to make a play while they have the time. Getting poked down onto SMLZ will help, but Redemption keeps them healthy.
All right, I wonder when they're going to just pull the trigger. This is a cannon wave. They can do it, but just once again, miasma. Get back. You can't touch me. That just slows everything down. Think of it as a Season 2 Anivia ultimate, where instead of just keeping the minions at bay, you're keeping the enemies at bay. They're not going to get past the miasma.
Gimgoon forced to back as well to handle that top wave, so they've lost a ton of momentum here, the bottom side of the map. So their Elder buff going to run out really soon and Baron up in just a minute 50.
Honestly, at this point for FPX, what they need is either a Baron buff to have the minions be super beefed up and they can just have the 3 lanes pushing in, or a double Elder Dragon that is just GG, lights out, way too much damage. So, Suning, they still have some time. Rabadon's death cap on SMLZ will get the job done if he has the time to just fire out.
And that's going to be the problem for FPX. Sword Art has been disrupting so many of their engages with the Black Shield. At this point, if they're able to get any CC onto SMLZ, I feel like they need to go all the way in.
Top lane has a cannon wave and a second wave following up. If FPX are clued in on all that, they can actually just rotate topside, but they're committing here. That is a huge wave top lane. They're just going to let it go.
Boom, cleared out almost instantly by Xiaoal. They're losing so much pressure here. Looking towards the red buff, I think they're setting up for another Baron.
Yeah, this is when a team gets way too risk averse, mostly because of what's on the line here. Game 3, last time you'll see of FPX or Suning, and you know that one fight away of just losing it all. That's what it's come down to. And if you're FPX and you know that your composition has a Varus and Elise, you have to play perfectly. You can't make mistakes against an Akali, Cassiopeia, Morgana, a GP. That's just insane to be able to deal with. 6-item GP too, so all of the work you've done early on means nothing.
Now Doinby pushing in, still trying to play that front line, still trying to look for the picks. Been the hero of the team so far, but he needs to keep it up for just a little bit longer if they want to take down Suning.
Look how tanky he is. He has Grassy and dying. This GP is just taking it. Here we go, though.
LWX and TN going to start duoing the Baron, and no wards on it yet, but if Weiwei gets in here for the steal, everything could go wrong so quickly. Suning are all starting to collapse, but Gimgoon isn't here for the flank.
They're playing a great game of pushing mid and top, and then hoping that Suning don't know that the two members are on it, but they always have an inkling that that's the case. So really smart. You can tell that Maple, Sword Art, just the primed and experienced members of Suning are always aware of it.
The other problem is that they're not being able to manage the side wave as well. Gimgoon keeps getting called down to either top or bottom to clear a wave, and this is slowing down FPX.
That's definitely the key problem that FPX have here. When they have the push, they do not know when to crash on waves. I talked about that wave topside. They had double cannon, all of that, great jazz that you can work with, but they didn't make the rotation done so they can chip down the tower. Being able to stack those cannon waves, Riot Games has made it easy for you. Cannon waves are coming out, machine gunning out with every minion wave. That should be good enough to be able to be confident off a double minion wave hitting a tower. But it's just not enough for this team.
Now they're getting the reset. Baron still on the field. Elder coming up in a minute. So if neither team takes the Baron in 1 minute, both of them have a very important choice to make. Do we want to go for Baron or do we want to go for Elder?
Well, they better go on Baron buff. You're right about it being 50-50 at this point. I think if you're FPX, both of them are the right answer. The only issue is that if we're just talking about the attitude that FPX have at this point, Baron does the job. Getting a double Elder Dragon you think would allow them to have the confidence to dive, but at the moment, I don't see it in them.
Now FPX have gotten a push in the side waves, but mid they still don't have pressure. They have 3 members backing, so now all that work they just put in is going to be canceled out by Suning.
And here's the kicker. I'm favoring Suning now. I'm going to be the Colonel Sanders of this one and say that Suning should be able to take this, because right now GP is primed and ready. You can already see that Akali has gotten her Rabadon's death cap. She's going to blow you up, no matter who you are. And more importantly, Cassio on major objectives will make it so god-awfully hard to be able to deal with. I think that Suning have scaled up so well. As long as they get out of this open mid lane, they should be able to take these fights.
That is the problem, though, because FPX are holding their attention very well around the objectives, and they're positioning more towards the Elder. But Suning don't want to give it over quite that easily. Maple looking for the flank on the side. FPX might be able to find Xiao. He's got the Guardian Angel still available, chunked down to half, but that's Sterix down, that's Black Shield down. Weiwei going in for the engagement. He might have been a little bit too far forward. Exhaust goes down, ultimate as well. Fear Beyond Death. Tien looking for the cocoon, but not able to find it.
Anything that Weiwei can do, they're just trying to chip him down so the ultimate from Urgot can work. Urgot has no ultimate here. All eyes are on Weiwei who could do here.
4,000, 3,000 left on the Elder Dragon. It is secured by FPX. Now they have the tools to fight. LWX takes down Weiwei, and suddenly the damage from FPX is enough. Maple in the back line, but they will save their jungler for the time being as LWX keeps pumping out the damage. Woo! Only 2 members remaining. Tien, a great cocoon. Maple is stuck in the back line. Supportal combat, and Chris takes him out. Xiao as well. It's the ace for FPX.
They've done it. It was hard. It was super difficult, but there was nothing that Maple could do there. They all end on the Elder Dragon. That was the second one, and you saw how much damage Urgot was pumping out for it. Just take a look at Duembi on the camera.
The last 20 minutes were a struggle, but in the end, FPX took it down. They had the lead in the early, and they just needed the right trigger to pull during the late.
Man, that was tough. For FPX to get to that stage of the game and to be able to play it slowly, I've never seen that out of them. FPX, when they get this late, they're too impulsive. LWX makes a mistake. Gimgoon gets caught out. Doesn't happen here. In fact, they played it slowly. They met Suning in what seemed like ticking timer of their composition. But they knew that as long as they played it well, pushed out lanes, and just consistently got to the objective first, one of those fights would be the right one.
It's evolution from FunPlus, and that's what I love to see. I'm so happy to see this team succeeding. Doinby's smiling face, because before they could really only do the chaotic style, but this game, like you said, they proved that they can take it slower. They figured out finally what they needed to do to make their other styles work.
And all the haters, I'm going to put it out there right now, you're going to hear it during Chinese New Year's, they're going to be denying them a lot of this victory that they've had to begin with in this split, saying that against Suning, hey, Maple wasn't healthy, FLICKR wasn't playing. FPX, you can do well in your fights, but I don't know if it's enough to deal with RNG when Uzi comes back. These are all questions and challenges that people will be having for FPX once we get back in it in week 4. But the man right here, juggling a lot, juggling the cups, juggling the compositions, the comms. Doinby right now is the key to FPX's current success, and you cannot deny that. Because all of that worries that we've had in the previous year, 2018, wiped out. He's able to slow him down, keep him comfortable and confident. And on top of that, I would even give the credit to Warhorse too, the coach, former Flash Wolves coach, took down the former Flash Wolves players. FPX had such an insane series here to come back.
They've tamed the chaotic style that they used to have. The Phoenix is now a little bit more under control, and on the back of Doinby's shot calling, we've seen them take a more controlled style. That game, if you look at the gold lead, it was bad at one point. They had a dip, but the entire time, FPX really had control. They had the lead. The matter was just finding the point to push.
Yeah.
And the fact that they did is so impressive.
This was the best series of the year for the LPL. I thought that the best series was going to be the first series, TLP versus Invictus Gaming, and IG just wept TLP. I felt really clean, and even then, it was I thought it was like, okay, you're starting the year off with a bang, but this series really killed it for us. It really was. You're right. Like, it was smart. It was slow. I thought that no Maple, no FLICKR, it would be Suning with no clue. But they were really playing it well around what I felt was Sword Art's calls. And Xiao Al still had a very good series, even though the last game was tough. So, definitely my favorite one. If you haven't seen it, I know you're probably coming in at a tough time, but like, watch the VODs. If you've seen it, watch the VODs. Like, this is basically Spider-Verse, but you've seen the movie like a million times. You need to watch it over because that one was fun.
It was nice to see that Suning and FPX both still look like contenders on top of it, because I can't say from this, oh yeah, Suning Suning, whatever. They did so well, and yes, FunPlus are the ones that get to come out of this saying, we went undefeated all the way into Chinese New Year. Mm-hmm. Look at us. We're so amazing. And yes, they are absolutely fantastic, but Suning, the fact that they were working against so much in this series, the fact that they had so much in their way, and they still almost took it in the end, it's something to be admired, and it's something to think about going into the break and coming back.
Remember week 4, week's been going by very quickly, by the way. And then you were talking about like playoffs. A lot of people have in their minds that RNG will come back. I'm already talking about RNG. And you're right, Suning, they may take this loss, but like, that's insane that they almost beat FPX without Maple, who's healthy, and FLICKR, who just wasn't playing. So they can come out of this personally thinking, going back and saying, okay, well, this looks great for our team. Once we get into a playoff mode, then like teams should not be able to touch us unless if we're going up against IG. That's going to be a really sick series to be able to watch. We still haven't seen that one yet. And FPX have dealt with JD, beat that one, Snake, Rogue Warriors, and now Suning. From this point forward, FPX should be able to, like, the only teams that are going to be really tough for FPX is going to be IG and RNG. Those are going to be really fun to watch because of how of a high octane, team fight action that we're going to be seeing. And even EDG when they get better. LPL, I know we're leaving you guys with a lot of question marks already coming into the split, but like, I am so fun to get back into it in February when we come back. I was like February 15, I believe. Yes, February 15 is when we come back, to be able to catch these games week 4. It's insane.
And I think especially going forward, because we're going to have a bit of a break and then we're going to have a few patch changes, I think it's important, especially this series, to note that FunPlus have developed a new style. Mm-hmm. And this is something that we worry about for a lot of our LPL teams, because we're great at the chaotic, bloody style and going in real quick on kills and just blowing everything up, and it's awesome and it's really fun. But there are some metas where that's not as favored as others, and this happens to be a meta that's very favorable to that style. But that last game, FPX proved that they're able to adjust their style. They are able to play something else. And I think that's going to be so powerful looking towards playoffs. And a big part of that was their shot caller and MVP, Doinby.
Boom. Yep. 32% damage penalty on that Urgot. Super carry Doinby. Insane to see how much of an impact he's had with the team alongside their coach. He has done so much. Once again, touching on it, very similar to Rookie in the sense that in communications speaks both Mandarin and Korean fluently, so he can link the sides of the map, and he's a clear, decisive shot caller, similar to Cool and what he was supposed to provide last year, but this one just fits their style. They want to fight, well guess what, he's already in there. And his flexibility in his champion pool, this time around picking up Urgot, so that's not too, that's basically, yeah, the flex between him and top lane. But we've already seen Yasuo on him. We've already seen the Kled pretty frequently. You don't know what he's going to pick up and pick ban, but you're always aware that he's going to be the one leading the squad. So far so good from FPX. A great start to the year.
And I think the trademark for Doinby going forward should be tenacity. Because he would never give up during that game, and that is so important in longer series, in longer games, always being willing to make the play. We could criticize FPX in the later stages of being afraid. That top lane tower push, they were a little bit back. But if you looked at Doinby the entire time, every time he thought he could make a play that would end the game, he even had an inkling that a Righteous Glory push-in would have a chance, even the slightest one, of getting it. He went for it. And that is so strong because we see too many teams freeze up. And if you have a shot caller like Doinby, you don't have to be afraid of that.
And honestly, I would say that the call that he made towards the second Elder Dragon is the better one if you can bring the team towards you. As I like, if you go towards the cannon and top side, you're always aware of the fact that, you know, you're now fighting into another team and you don't have the engage to do that. And the best way to start the fights, if you're really lacking the engage and the Varus ultimate and Cocoon is not really working, bring the enemy team towards you. Going towards that Elder Dragon when they finally picked up brought a lot of the enemy team towards them. And I thought that that call was very smart in doing so. So smart plays, directness. This is what you're getting out of FPX. You're right.
And the adjustment as well.
Yeah.
I mean, there's so many things we can praise FunPlus on that we could literally be here all night. And I'm fine with that.
Yeah,
I'm happy to do that.
Because I think Oinker's ready for this.
Yeah. They were so good at adjusting throughout the game to different strategies. Snake we saw fall flat because they had a strategy for the first 15 minutes. It failed. FunPlus, their 15-minute strategy failed. They adjusted. They went for tanky. They went for the long game. And it came out on top. And they are now the only undefeated team left in the LPL. That's caused a little bit of a shakeup.
Yes, it has. Let's take a look at this now. So for a lot of people coming in late, looking at it and saying, oh, Invictus Gaming lost something. Now, for us, remember, the reason why they're above FPX is because they played more games, but very easily you could say that FPX are at the top simply because they beat them all. JD, Snake, Rogue Warriors, and now Suning. So it's going to be super fun to see FPX versus Invictus Gaming. Just going to even try to take a look ahead and see what we've got here because, like, I just want to see the next time that FPX ends up playing. Because the next time they play, it's going to be up against LGD. So that's, well, actually WE, then LGD. So they're actually going to have a pretty easy run when they come right back into the league. So they get to come back in, really get their sea legs once again after the New Year's. So we should be expecting FPX to come back, like, essentially prepared and continuing this lead that they have, this win streak that they have.
And when we come back as a broadcast, February 15th, we've got our own very exciting matchups. The hype for this one's is not the only hype we have. Of course, it is post-Chinese New Year, which means this RNG versus Vici series will possibly have Uzi back.
That's true. That's true. That we've been hearing them being said. Amazing J got to see play off his second series, but we've just been waiting for Uzi, the identity, the soul of RNG, to come back, and we heard that he was going to come back after Chinese New Year's. If he doesn't come back in the first series, he's certainly going to be coming back in the next one where he goes up against EDG on Sunday of that one. So that's going to be real fun to see it because we've all been doubting. It always comes that every split, every year, it's like RNG starts out weak, but they always bounce back when Uzi comes in and they can play through him. So that's going to be fun to watch out for.
There's a lot in store for us here at the LPL. There's a lot more to come, but for now, that was our last broadcast. Until Chinese New Year's is over, we'll be back on the 15th. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you after the holiday.